Hello and welcome to On Thriving, the podcast that empowers change makers ready to unlock their full potential to thrive and make a positive impact on the world. Before we dive into the episode, I want to remind you that you can support the podcast by subscribing, rating, and leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform, and by subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications on YouTube. Your feedback and all of these actions help us reach more people and continue to produce high quality content. Also, if you're interested in learning more about astrology, you can download my free guide called A Guide to Saturn and Pisces from my website at taylorshuler.com. And finally, I am thrilled to announce the launch of my new monthly membership community called Thrive. This community is designed to help you grow, connect with me and other like-minded people to learn, network, and collaborate, and get exclusive access to an extensive library of resources and tools that will help you live your best life and make the world a better place. I'm also offering private text and video chat to a limited number of members in the Société Lune Noire part of the community. You can learn more about the community and join us on my website, taylorshuler.com/thrive. Hey there, welcome back. I have Christopher Stilson here today with us, and I'm so excited for this conversation. We're going to learn about these readings and talking with spirit and being a psychic and what that all means, or being a medium and how you can engage in that. So welcome, Christopher. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, and I'm very happy to be here.
So tell us, how did you get into this? Like, what exactly do you do? When did you get into it? How did you know you had this gift?
So when I was younger, when I was pretty much born, my mom was in an abusive relationship, abusive marriage, I should say. And I remember, we're gonna call him the man. He's whatever, but he had my mom pinned down on the couch and was screaming in her face, and I was 4 years old. So I went behind the love seat and I was crying and bawling my eyes out. And all I remember is this woman, she appeared out of nowhere and she said to me, "Christopher, just listen to me. Your life's about to change." And my mom called the cops. He went to jail. She then divorced him. And we were like pretty much dirt poor. We had not a lot of money. And my mom would pretty much starve herself just so my brother and I could eat. She would like pick through the pan while she was cooking, and she would give us the rest so we can have full bellies. And from there, she worked her butt off to try to make everything work and try to meet, have ends meet. And then my stepdad, who is my father, I call my father, came along, and we went from this broken down home to another beautiful apartment. And then we went to the home that I now have. So my childhood home, when I was like third grade, she bought it, and now I own it. But my life did change. It went up. And ever since then, I heard this voice in pretty much like the back of my head. I would always hear this voice always talking, but I never seen the woman again. And as time went on, I got into at the end of elementary school, I realized not everyone was sharing the same experience as me. I was seeing things around me, people around me that weren't really there, other things. And then I said, you know what? I can't do this. No one else is doing it. This is odd. So I tried to block it out. This had me suffering with severe anxiety and depression. I would have like 9 to 10 panic attacks a day through middle school, and I wouldn't want to leave. I was very like, I became like introverted. I really didn't have a lot of friends. I would talk to a few people and hang out here and there, but not a lot. And then when I got into high school, I was having yet another panic attack. And I remember sitting in my bedroom crying. And I just said out loud, "I don't want this anxiety anymore." And the voice said back to me, "Well, if you would just listen to me, I could help you."
Mm.
So I decided to make a deal. I said to this voice, I said, "Fine, if you can help me, I will from now on listen to you. If you can't, leave me the hell alone." And this voice, female voice, like I said, started to explain to me how I'm a psychic medium and how spirit was using my body to communicate to others. So, for example, if my throat started closing up, it wasn't me myself, it was spirit that had either trouble communicating towards the end of their passing, or they had something wrong with their throat before passing. And when she explained this to me and was teaching me about my own body, what was happening was when my body would malfunction, I would go into a panic attack, not knowing what was going on. And so after she explained to me further and further and taught me how to channel, the anxiety just went away. I haven't had a panic attack like that in years and years and years. And come to find out, she's my spirit guide, and her name is Anna. And she's been with me my whole entire life. So that's how it all started.
Wow, you've said so much, and what a journey that you've had. I'm sorry that you experienced so much of what you experienced growing up. And also, it sounds like sometimes it is the pain and the anxiety and the fucking shit of life that leads us to need to find a solution, right? And that solution then can become our greatest gift.
Oh, truly. And I really think that what people don't understand is when we come here to learn. And we learn more through every negative thing. We do learn through the positive things, but what much do you learn from that? But we definitely learn through all the negative things. And negative things have to be for our next step in life. It has to be for what is going to be happening for us. So at a point when I grew up, I was just like, why did that have to happen to me? I have daddy issues. Why the, and Anna kept explaining to me, well, if that didn't happen, you weren't going to be doing what you did now. And it all leads up to somewhere and something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. And the other thing that I heard you say is that we can't do this alone. It's not like someone just knows how to do this. You needed a teacher, and that teacher is your spirit guide. And
Exactly.
she was able to teach you because, especially nowadays, I feel like, the generations that are alive, especially like millennials, Gen Z, a lot of us have these talents, these gifts, might be intuitive, might be about divination, might be artistic, could be just being a healer or whatever it is. And if it is in that divination world, or in that world where it's like, it wasn't okay when we were growing up, like in the 80s and 90s and early aughts, it was like on the outskirts, it wasn't mainstream. We feel weird, right? Like what is this gift? How do I do it? I don't know. I mean, I myself have like had to learn a lot about spiritual boundaries, energetic boundaries, and things like that. And so knowing that it's okay that you don't just like know from birth, like, like even with walking, you see other people walk when you're an infant, and then you kind of like put it together and you're like, oh, my legs can do this. And it's sort of the same, except like everybody walks and not everyone is an astrologer or a psychic or a medium or, all of these things. And so we do need teachers, and there's no shame in that. It's actually really important, right?
Yeah. And what you brought up about that is how, um, you know, the new generations are coming out more with it, and that more spirituality and stuff. But what I've come to learn is that everyone's born psychic, every single one of us.
Mm.
And the reason for that, and what I like to say, is because God wouldn't just drop us down here saying, good luck, bitch. I always say that he gave us these gifts to help us because we want to communicate with the other side. We have a whole army over there. We have our spirit guides, loved ones, past life loved ones. We have animals, angels, and they're all over on their side willing to help us. It's just that we need to learn to communicate and connect. And that's the hard part, is that what I've learned through my studies is that we all come here in the physical world and we're all born psychic. And when children are young, you see that in them. But society or themselves push it away, usually through fear.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really wish, and it's kind of like we come here with an amnesia, because we don't remember what happens over there. We don't know what goes on or how it works. We just literally say, okay, I want to learn something. Here you are. Let's learn. And then we come here going, what did I just do? Why did I just do this? And what I also learned is through my studies, is that when people look at babies, they go, you see eternal life and happiness. No, you see, oh shit, why did I come back here? What am I doing here? And it's because they're so sensitive and they know about things more than adults do. Like, you don't, people don't understand that as a baby, we're all so spiritually connected. And then as time goes on, we start pushing that away. And then another thing I do like what you brought up too is that not everyone is a psychic. Not everyone is, but we write a chart out. We come here with a chart to learn from, the Akashic records.
Mhm.
And we literally will write the good, the bad, the ugly. We write down our health, career, finances. We choose our parents, our siblings, our lovers, and so on and so forth. So pretty much our soul writes out a story that our human mind and human body is supposed to go through to learn from. Because
Mhm.
over there, we only have unconditional and pure happiness. And all that connects with astrology because it connects with those charts and things like that as well.
Yeah.
And when we come here, we'll choose our life path, obviously, like I said. So everyone's born psychic, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to be a psychic. Everyone is born to learn how to play the piano, but not everyone is going to be a famous pianist or whatever the hell they're called, because I don't.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and like with our charts too, I can't do the astrology part. I talk to dead people. I can look into the Akashic records for people and things like that, but I can't sit here and work with alignments and things like that. Like that's not my cup of tea. So that's not where my chart was supposed to lead. But with you, there you are. You
Right.
know, yeah. So there's always some area that we all have these talents that we could do, but not everyone's going to be up there. So that's how that part works out, and I love how you understand that, unlike a lot of other people here in the physical world.
I think this is a really great transition into what is the difference between astrology and being a psychic, being a medium, and those forms of divination and the Akashic records. Because I think when people come to me for the first time, especially if someone gives them a gift, they say, hey, I just had a reading, I had a consultation with Taylor, she read my star chart, my natal chart, it was about astrology. The other person goes, okay, I trust you. I love you. I know that you think this will be a great match because you know me and my personality. And now you know Taylor and her personality and her gifts and what she was able to provide for you. But the new person comes in and they're just like, what is going on here? What are we doing? And then they get kind of scared because there's fear in the unknown. And, I do have intuitive abilities. Uh, and I'm not trained in being a psychic. I have some clairsentience. I have some claircognizance of my own. That's not my primary modality. That's not the primary thing that I see and do and work with. I do get
Mhm.
intuitive hits, and I think a lot of astrologers do. But what we do is literally we have a map of the sky the moment someone was born, or the map of the sky, the moment a company was founded, or this very moment in time, like a full new moon, a new moon. And then we look at the zodiac sign a planet is in, and we look at what's called a house that it's in, and we literally just interpret the archetype. So like Saturn's about hard work and responsibility and maturity, and the moon is about our emotions and our feelings, and we read, for lack of a better word, the story that these planets and the way that they're oriented tell each other. And so we're actually like, it's just like reading a piece of paper or a book. There's words and there's letters, and that becomes a story. We're doing that, and it's a language that we're interpreting. And
Mhm.
so that's like how I would describe astrology in a nutshell in just a minute. How would you describe what you do and what you have to offer people and how it works and how you think maybe it's different from astrology?
So let's start with psychic. So psychic is someone that gets information from your aura, which is energy. Also, they can get information from the Akashic records through energy, and the universe and whatnot from there. But when it comes down to mediumship is someone that gets information from spirit. Now, if you're a psychic, you're only going to do psychic parts. That is connecting with someone's past, present, and future. But when you're a medium, you're communicating with spirit, which will help you relay messages to someone that needs help with grief and the problems in the physical world. But you can also get information from spirit about past, present, and future.
Mm.
Um, so when you're a psychic, you're only psychic. When you're a medium, you technically do both because you can get information both ways. I call myself a psychic medium because I do both. My favorite thing is the medium part. I do love to communicate with spirit. I've done that all my life, obviously with Anna and other spirits I've always seen around and popping in and out. But when I connect with people in energy, it's energy from their aura and their charts on the other side, the Akashic records, and um, things in that sense. So I can see what their past would be about to help them move on and heal. I would see where their present life is to see what's their next step to do to help with what they're in with now. Or the future wise saying, well, I see you going into this, and this will be a better outcome for you later on. And kind of give them the inspiration to get into that direction for themselves, or have them become more happier because I don't see a terrible outcome for them. Or, a lot of things people like to ask me about is relationships. And I'm not one to talk about relationships I don't like to as much. But if you're going to ask me, I'm going to blurt out. You're willing to ask, I'm going to answer.
Yeah.
And there was a woman that came in here one day and she goes, Christopher, I think there's a demon in my house. And I don't believe in demons. I've never dealt with one. All my studies prove that demons are man-made for control, and the true evil are the people in the physical world. And that's the sad part. There are lower level things, but we'll get into that at a whole different day if you want to. But I looked at her, I said, it's not a demon. It's your husband. Get rid of him.
Ooh, wow.
And during my readings, I'm blunt. I'm going to tell you how it is. You come to me, get a chance to get a reading. That's just because I'm blunt. And she sat there in looking at me as in, why did you just say that? And then she goes, you're right. He's terrible. And I said, I know. And it's not and there's people that come in here thinking that I'm going to say that each and every single time. Women, I read a lot of women. They want to know if their partner's cheating on them or doing this or doing that. And not everyone's going to do it. It's just their insecurities from past relationships. So I'm blunt during my readings. So when I sit there and going, well, I don't see that. They relieve themselves going, okay, so a psychic doesn't see it, we're good. But if I'm going to sit here and tell you that you have a partner, I don't know why the hell you're with them and whatnot, you take it as it is. And get relieved that way. So the whole psychic and medium part is getting connection with their life overall. Psychic part is more of a connection with their chart and their past, present, future. And medium is more of spirit. And of course, spirit can communicate about their past, present, future, because sadly, our loved ones are nosy over there. They're nosier than hell. And they will go into your chart and they'll start reading it. And they're allowed to do that. And I tell people all the time, I'm terrified of my mother dying before I do, because I do not want her popping next to my bedside going, Christopher, we need to talk. You know what I mean? Because they get to know all that stuff.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. But it's all love over there, right? So
yeah, they don't judge you. They're not going to sit here and bash you and say, wow, you shouldn't have done that. Why are you stupid enough to do that? We learn through it all, and they understand that. So it's not like they're going to judge you for whatever you do, but oh God, I worry all the time that my mom's going to pop up going, you didn't tell me any of this. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, you're dead.
I love it. I love to hear what the psychic medium is worst fear, or also you've just, I feel dispelled a lot of fears, because I have to say, I think you were actually the first psychic medium I ever saw. And we've done a couple of readings together, and it's been so helpful to me. I mean, the things that you've told me have just been so spot on and have really relieved my anxiety. I was changing jobs and stuff like that at one point in time. And you knew that there were 2 job offers out there, and there were 2 job offers. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And you were like, I think you need to choose the one. You kind of described it, and I knew exactly what you were talking about. And I did. And it worked out for me in the long run. But some of what I'm hearing is getting in touch with spirit is about sort of getting in touch with that thing that we have as babies and as very young children. When you hear those stories of the kid who said, you know, they sort of like, they were like, where is so and so, and they give a very specific name and they describe an experience, and then the parent looks it up in the newspaper, genealogy.com, and they figure it out, and it's like no one could have known, and this is the person, and they have the birthmark of the scar of the bullet wound, that, you know, all
Mhm.
this stuff. I mean, I remember myself, I was in pre-K, and it was like, I was a pretty good kid. I was like a goody two shoes. And I was sitting on the stairs at like, I must have been like 4 years old, but I guess I was put on timeout or something. So they said, go sit on the staircase, like outside of the classroom. And I sat there and I had a synesthesia experience. And
Mhm.
I wasn't able to describe it to anyone. And people like didn't know what it was, but I still remember that like very deeply, and very like, I remember that experience, when I don't really remember a lot of stuff from that age, remember it viscerally. And it sounds like some of what you do is like kind of help people get back in touch with that thing that we might have lost because it wasn't cultivated in us, or because we're not supposed to be a penis or whatever. Like, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to go on our own path. And you can
Mhm.
kind of tap into that still because you've held on to that and cultivated it. Um, you know, and kind of help people get back in touch with those messages and that information to help them get back on track.
Exactly. And the thing though is too is that um normally you already know your chart when you're born. You don't remember everything, obviously, or you don't know how to express or explain it, but you know your chart. And what they say too is that when you're a child and you say, I want to be a teacher, and you grow up and you're not a teacher, but you're so disappointed or hate your job that you're at. And then I look at some people and go, I don't know, but teaching looks like it should be in your chart. And they go, I always wanted to be a teacher. I just never went to school for it. I never did this for it, and blah, blah, blah. And it's because you already know your chart as a young child, not all of it, but you know the parts, you feel the parts of where you should be going.
Yeah.
And then you lose track of that because our human selves or blah, blah, blah. Now you're never off your chart. That's another thing I want to, there are people that are evil and they get off really what it's terrible. That's a long story, but you're never off your chart directly, and no one ever is, because where you're at in life you're supposed to be somewhere somehow. And it could be that you're going to be a teacher, you feel the need to be a teacher, but sometimes you need that little oomph and you're a teacher when you're 80. I don't know, things like that. But there's always a reason for things to play out the way it does. When I was younger, I always got drawn to acting. I always wanted to be an actor. I loved theater. I loved watching people do plays. I still love plays, but I couldn't remember a line worth crap. I've had too much in my head. When you talk to 3,000 dead people a day or whatever, you can't remember a thing. And when you're on stage and you see someone's dead grandma sit next to them and you just get information, you can't remember something.
Right.
And I was so disappointed in myself that I was crying, and I was like, why? I need to figure out something to do because I want to be an actor. I need to figure out how to get over this, and yada yada yada. And Anna said to me, my spirit guide, she says, Christopher, you're supposed to be on stage, but not the way you think you're supposed to be. And I go, what do you mean by that? I said, acting would be fun. She goes, you'll be on stage, don't you worry. And now I've been sitting around people and in big groups of people doing readings and parties and lectures and all of that stuff. And she was right. I was supposed to be on stage, but not the way that I wanted to be.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So tell everyone, like, can you tell folks like how you're going to be on stage and all of that?
So my plans and goals are to do lectures. I want to travel. I want to teach people about the truth of spirituality and not the nonsense they see in movies or
Yeah.
these other psychics out there that bring up things that don't exist, or you know um I pretty much want to be truthful to people. I want to be truthful and open. And throughout my years of study and communicating with spirit and all of that stuff, believe it or not, I'm a skeptic medium. People don't understand that, but if I don't see, hear, feel, or deal with it or study into it, I won't believe it.
Mhm.
And there's so much stuff that someone will bring up to me, and I'll be like, that sounds stupid. Why would that happen? And then I'll have to like look into it and get books on it and read books on it or articles on it, and I have to talk to Anna about it. And I read a lot of spiritual books, and if those spiritual books don't make sense to me, I will question it. And if Anna can't give me a direct answer or help me understand it, to me that book's trash. It's garbage. It's gone. But when I do read things and I question it and she gives me a direct answer, I'm like, okay, let me study more into this, or let me look more into this. And that's where the demon thing comes into play. I don't believe in them. I've never dealt with one. There was one instant that I did, that I thought I did, but it was pretty much my mentality pushing off my own anxiety and my own problems.
Yeah.
And that was like a one-time call saying, Christopher, you're developing your own issues, let go of it. But when I sat down one day and people were questioning me about demons, and I said to Anna, I said, are demons real? And she goes, Christopher, why would you have to worry about things crawling to the ground to get you when there's evil around you every day? And she's talking about the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be on stage, teaching people, doing lectures, motivational speaking, things like that. I have my first upcoming live on stage event at the Keystone Theater in March,
Ooh,
in
yeah.
Towanda. And I'm very excited for that. And I have done small things, like I was at part of the Clarity Connects, which was a smaller event. It was a big event, but it was smaller than the theater was, I should say, or is. And then, I've been doing other small things with big groups. I was at the Kilmore Mansion in Binghamton, and I was doing a lecture up there and readings up there.
Mm.
And they want me to come back. I think we're doing that in April. And there's a lot of just different things that I plan on doing and trying to pursue to create, not create, but tell the truth of spirituality. And all of these things that others bring up. I want to explain the truth about soulmates and karma. And because everybody uses those in different ways and they're not truthful. And it's sad to say, but I really wish that people would understand the truth in it, because there's people that go around and come to me and they're going around and like, I can't find my soulmate. I can't find my soulmate. Well, you won't. And your soulmate stays on their side helping you while you're here. And then when you cross over, they'll come here.
Oh, wow.
And they'll come here. And then you guys take turns. And then when you guys are both done learning your lessons throughout however many lives, you're over there together and happy.
Wow.
And there's a thing called oh, Anna, what's that word called? Kindled souls. Thank you. And kindled souls is similar to a soulmate. You wrote that person in your life to be deeply and passionate about, similar to a soulmate. And you'll be together and happy, but it may not be forever because they're just kindled souls. Ooh. Could you imagine finding your soulmate in the physical world? You wouldn't want to leave the bed. You'd be too happy, and all of that stuff. Like, then that's the truth on that. And,
like codependent.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is very rare cases where people do find their soulmates here. It's very rare. And then again, twin flames, for example, no such damn thing. No such thing. You wrote the bastard in your life. You're learning from it. Get the hell over it. Move on.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. But then people use these terms and people then become obsessed and crazy about it.
Right.
But it's not a bad thing. I mean, people are people and people are going to learn through whatever they had to learn from.
I'm super curious. You mentioned karma. If you could just say, some thoughts on karma, because that's something that comes up in astrology too a lot, where people say, oh, well, this is your karma based on your chart, and people have lots of feelings about it.
So karma is and it works very well with astrology. Karma does. And the reason for that is because people think that karma is going to get you. You do something wrong, karma is going to get you right here, right now. Don't you worry about that. That's not how it works. It takes, usually it's into your next life, which I'll explain in a second. But in this life, it can come up in 5 years. So there's something that can happen, but usually within a 5-year frame.
Ooh.
But most of the time it happens in your next life. And that's where the astrology comes into play, because it reads that next life or your layout to that. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And what happens is, for example, let's say you had 12 children and you were absolutely terrible to those children. You didn't like them. You used them as butlers or whatever you want to call it. And, you hid them from people and beat them. Well, your next life in your karma, you may not be able to have kids. You won't be able to have them. And in that life, you may want children so badly, but because you were so terrible doing a past life, boom, you don't get them.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that. And I can understand that from an astrological perspective, because we look at Saturn, which is like usually like a 7-year cycle or something like that. And it's like, did you put in the work? And if you did put in the work or you didn't put in the work, then you get the results of that work or non-action, like,
Exactly.
do you work out and you want muscles, or do you not and you don't get muscle? You know what I'm saying? So I can see that from like there's a certain period in this life where you can like reap that karma or not, and does it make sense or not? Because like children would be a lifelong thing that you would maybe not necessarily like see a result, like a back sort of response that karma would be in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I love how you brought that up too about like the 7-year cycle and things like that, or like you have to work for it. And it's funny because some people come in here and they go, I need to find out, who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, or blah, 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 blah. And I give them the information. I'll describe them to them, or blah, blah, blah. And then I go, you'll see them in 5 years, 7 years, whatever. Well, then they'll come back to me after that time. They go, well, where are they? And I go, well, what have you been doing? They go, well, I've been sitting on my couch waiting for them. I go, oh, I'm sorry I didn't send them to your house and knock on the damn door and say, hey, this is for your life partner. You have to go out there and see people and hang out with your friends and, yada, yada. It's not going to just come to you.
Absolutely. I think we have to be the person that person wants to be with. Right. And that means like getting out there. And also we have to be the person we want to be with. Like and that soulmate that you're talking about, that's on the other side, that's helping us. I think that makes a lot of sense. Like that's the role of that person, because I really don't feel like we're ever alone. Like I have felt lonely in my life, and I have felt alone, and I felt like that was a lie. That was not the truth. I was not alone. I was just not open to understanding, even if someone doesn't believe in like spirit, or they don't believe in that, fine, whatever. But I do believe that I incarnated with my heart, my body, my mind, and my soul. And those are 4 people, that like get to interact on a daily basis and like laugh and love and live and play and think and talk and wonder and explore, right?
Yeah. And a lot of people, and I'm happy you brought that up too, because a lot of people, there are people that come in here, they're like, I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely. I felt lonely. And one time I was talking to Anna and I was reading a book. And as I'm talking to her about being lonely, because I was, and she goes, you'll find out soon. And I like turned the page, and out of this book, it explained how as long as you know that God loves you, as long as you know that you have spirit around you, and they always will be there no matter what, and angels and this and that, you are never truly alone. You will never be. And it like, I started crying because I was like, here I am having a pity party on, I'm so alone because no one's physically around me. But at the same time, I know that I have God around me, and I know that I have spirit around me. And I had a hard time before with, I fell in love with this one guy, and he broke my heart. And I would say probably a year later, he asked me to come pick him up one day. So I drove 2.5 hours out to drive 2.5 hours back, and then out again and back again the next day. He stayed for one night, and he told me that night that he loved me, and how when he graduates high school, because he had a year left, I graduated early. When he graduates high school, he's going to move back to Elmira. And then he'll go to Elmira College, and we'll be together. We'll be happy for the rest of our lives. And then the next day I took him back up there, and I came home, and I was going to message him to tell him I got home okay. And he blocked me on everything, completely blocked me on everything. And it devastated me, and it broke me, because I don't know what it was. I had so much of a connection with this man, and I loved him dearly. Like, it was one of those situations of when they were around you, you couldn't stop being happy, and he made my heart feel whole. Well, then I said, screw it. I'm gonna do things for me for now on. And I was at the point where when I would look at people holding hands, I'm like, ew, disgusting. Get out of here. Like, that's disgusting. And I started giving myself like foot baths every Friday night, and I would light candles and burn incense, and I would buy myself flowers, and I would go out to the movies by myself, or and read books. And it took 3 years, three
Yeah.
years. And after 3 long years of finding myself, and I mean, I would talk to people here and there and like go on dates, but it was never anything serious or anything like that. I talked to a guy that I was talking on and off with, and now after, well, it's 8 years now, but after 7 years of being together, we finally got married. You know,
Oh,
I,
congratulations.
I got married in May. And we adopted 3 beautiful children, and we have a family and all of that stuff. And we've been together, like I said, 8 years. And
Wow.
people don't understand that when you're too busy trying to find your soulmate, who, like I said, you probably most likely won't find, you are looking for someone that's not going to happen, and you're missing out on loving your children, loving your mother, loving the people around you that actually matter and connect with, because you're too busy putting blinders on looking for that one person. And when you truly start finding love in yourself, and you truly start finding love within the people around you that truly matter, then that love of yours will just fall to the sky. It will just happen because there's a stronger connection. um the reading that book and stuff and connecting in that way, she made me the author, Sylvia Brown. I don't know if you know who that is.
Mhm.
I absolutely love her, and she explained how everybody became her love affairs, how she started seeing love within everybody. And that's how I am. If I read you, you're now family to me, and I will absolutely love you till the day I die. And there's people out there that I can't stand. I'm not saying that, just because I'm psychic, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to kiss everyone's ass,
Yeah. Yeah.
because there are people, but those people I distance from, I block. I'll send them love and light and connect with them in ways of just loving them, energy wise, but I don't hold it. I don't hold that anger or anything in. But that's the problem, is people will put those blinders on looking for something that they're not going to find, and they need to learn to love themselves.
Yes, self-love is so, so, so important.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's an energy exchange, if you love yourself, you vibrate at a higher level. And that level that you vibrate at attracts what you're trying to attract. But if you're constantly searching, you're putting your energy outside yourself. You're putting your energy out there so that you are literally losing yourself. And that is low vibration, to lose yourself, because it's sort of like dying. It's just like your vitality is being stolen and sucked away from you, instead of re-energizing and like putting back into the bank of yourself and investing in yourself with self-love, so that you can raise your vibration and attract the high vibration love that you're seeking. It's sort of counterintuitive. Like you would think, oh, well, I'm searching and I should find, but actually by investing back into yourself with self-love, you end up attracting the love that you need and that you want, because you're also telling the universe what I want. I want foot baths, I want flowers, I want dates at restaurants. You're telling the universe what you want so that you can get those things by becoming yourself more. And something that you said, you've talked about demons a couple times, and I know I was really afraid um, about mediumship, period, because I have felt the energies in the doorway or in the shadows, and I just didn't know my boundaries. I didn't know that I could tell them to go away and fuck off, like, this is my
Yeah.
space. And I didn't know I could say, like, I don't want to see you looking scary to me. I want to see you like this, or I want you to talk to me like this. I want you to communicate in this way because that makes me feel safe. And I've sort of learned some of that since then. But it sounds like that's not the case. Like, people, if they're going to come to you for a reading, you're going to read their aura, you're going to read their records, you're going to read, if spirit talks to you, and it's not like this scary thing. So I'm curious if you can like describe the process a little bit that occurs during a reading for someone who may not have had a reading before, and maybe they're like in a place of like fear or anxiety about it, but it actually might be a good thing for them to come for a reading. What can they
So
expect?
it's not like the movies. Let's just say it like that. It's not like the movies. You're not going to come in here and I'm going to have candles lit all around the room and it's going to be dim light and I'm just going to stare at you the whole time and I'm going to start like shaking and, you know, all of that stuff. But what happens is it's literally, think of it as you coming into a therapist's office and you sit down and the only difference is that I'm going to communicate with what I'm seeing around you or feeling around you or what I'm hearing from spirit. And you know, it's like we're having a conversation just like you and I are right now, but I'm just getting information the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just giving you that information of what I'm seeing, and I don't have to know anything about you. And you'd be surprised. I mean, I still get surprised on how many jaws drop, going, "You don't even know me," and I'm just like, "I know," and
Yeah.
you just told me everything about my life, and I'm just like, "I know,"
Yeah.
you know, and it's literally a beautiful thing. It doesn't have any negative energy. You don't feel like scared and, you know, things like that. I don't have a crystal ball that I go like this into. I don't use tarot cards or anything like that. People ask me all the time, "Christopher, what do you use?" And I go, "I just use my body. I'm getting information through the clairs and you know, I'm seeing things, hearing things, knowing things, feeling things, you know, all of that stuff. And I will give you whatever information I'm getting." And the thing though is that I want people to understand too, is that there is nothing to ever be afraid of, ever. And the reason why people have grown up to become afraid of spirit is one, religion. And I'm not against religion. I'm a firm believer in God. I talk to God. I pray to God. I'm what you call an agnostic Christian. So I believe in the Christian faith. I believe in Jesus Christ. But there's a lot of dogma behind religion.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is the fraud information of things. And another thing is too, is that when people feel things psychically, because of what they're told growing up, they're going to go, "I feel like someone's behind me. I know no one's there. It's a demon. I better run, you know, or I need to get out of the house." There's nothing that will ever harm you. It could have been your grandpa, you know, just popping in to say hello and you're freaking out for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and there can be a difference. Now, I do want to mention too, because we are talking about mediumship, there is a difference between a spirit and a ghost, you know, and that's where people sometimes get the wrong idea from too. Spirit is someone that's crossed over the other side and they come back and visit and they connect to you with love and light and all that stuff. A ghost is someone that's stuck in the physical world with unfinished business, and they can be aggressive or angry. And I will tell you, 95, 99% of the time, pretty much almost 100% of the time, they don't even know they're dead. They think you're just intruding in their house and they want you the hell out. So they can be aggressive or scary, but they can't harm you or hurt you, you know. And that's another thing I don't want people to be afraid of, because I feel bad for ghosts. You know, they're stuck here for some damn reason and we just need to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are stubborn. There are some that will literally be like, "No, that's not right. I'm just going to stay here," you know. I was talking to Anna one day and I said, "Why is it that there's a lot of ghosts like lately? Like, I don't see a lot of ghosts around all the time, but there are a lot of ghosts more than normal." And she goes, "Well, because in religion, they would always tell people that God judges you. And so when the soul comes out of the body, they're afraid to cross over because they don't want to be judged."
Ooh, wow.
And that's not the truth at all. When you cross over, which is a beautiful thing, you get to go to the Hall of Wisdom, where you get to see your whole life all over again from birth to death. And God doesn't judge you, you judge yourself.
Wow.
You say, "Okay, I did good there. I did good there. Okay, I could have done better there. If I do another life, I'm going to try that part again." And you judge yourself. You literally judge yourself.
That is so interesting, because we're coming back to fear again. That fear is really the thing. And so being afraid of something that we're like afraid of then keeps us stuck. fear is what keeps us stuck. And if we can lean more into love, because I would imagine if you get to that, what do you call it, the hall of record? Hall of wisdom, you get to the hall of wisdom, you're already stepping into a space, into a new life that is about love unconditionally and about light, that you're going to be in a space where you review and judge yourself from a space of unconditional love and light.
Yeah,
right? You're not going to judge yourself with fear and anxiety.
And not at all. Not at all. And you will literally, you understand why you did what you did. And the thing though is too, is that you don't only get to feel how you felt in those situations, you also get to feel how the other person felt with how you treated them.
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people, try to treat people with kindness, because if you don't, you're going to feel that when you get over there.
Yeah.
And that's the, it's the sad part, is that, you know, the fear of the fear that the world has put into us, I should say, because it truly has. People don't understand that if you love and only love, and I'm not saying you have to love everyone, you're not going to love everyone, you know, but if you send them love and light and you keep your distance and you just go, I know that person's terrible for me, I just need to send them love and light. If you love, it will help with your vibration, which will help with manifesting, which will help with a more positive outcome of your life and more positive outcome in things. And I'm not going to say your life's going to be rainbows and unicorns, because negative things have to happen so you can learn from it. Right. But when those negative things happen, you don't feel as bad as you would have if you just held everything in. And if you look at it as a loving thing, like when something happens to me, because I'm psychic, I'm still going to go through whatever everyone else goes through. I sit here and I just go, okay, I understand this. I'm a little frustrated, but I'm just going to love the situation. And I'm going to let myself know that something will come good out of this. Or, you know, because one thing that I love, the quote is, you can't have the good without the bad, and you can't have the bad without the good. It's always going to, and anything can happen on the switch of a dime. It happens, but we're learning from it and we're connecting with it. And that's the best thing I love about being a psychic medium. Is growing up, my mom always thought that I was weird because something would happen and I'd be so pissed off. And then 5 minutes would go by, I'm just like, so what are we having for dinner? And she'd be like, how do you just let go? And I never understood how I let go until I got older and realized that I would just start talking to Anna and she would help me understand, you're doing this, you know, or you're connecting with this way to learn from this way. Another thing I want to bring up too quickly is, I can't read myself. People piss me off when they go, Christopher, you're psychic, you should know that. And I go, I can't read myself. No psychic can.
Yeah.
I can get small portions of information for myself to help with, from Anna, to help guide me in a direction, but she won't tell me exactly what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I can look at you and go, how's this person's health? She'll give me a whole list. And then when I go, well, how's my health? She'll go, oh, you're good. You're
right.
Yeah. You lose something, I can probably find it. I lose something, it's gone.
It's so funny because it's the same with it's similar with astrology, where I can look at it and I can say, well, I know something's going to happen here and here and here, but we all kind of know something's going to happen with whatever, because we live our lives, right? Mm-hmm. But as astrologers, we go get readings from other astrologers because they're going to have a different perspective. They're going to have different messages to tell us. So I'm curious, in terms of the messages that you get, and is there stuff that, like, someone that people come and ask you that you're like, oh yeah, that's not, I can't tell you that, you know? Like, for example, people come to me sometimes and they go, tell me when I'm going to die. And astrology technically can tell you that. I personally am not an astrologer that is interested in looking into that, partially because I'm a hypochondriac myself, and there's modern medicine, and I'm not a medical practitioner, and so many reasons. But like, are there things that people come and ask you where you're like, I cannot do that, but I can do this?
Yeah. So I can get pretty much any information that Anna will give me, or any spirit will give me, or whatever energy will give me. But the rule is, a psychic can never tell you what you want to hear, only what you need to hear. In that time. In that time. So if I give you information and you come back and see me 6 months from then, and I'll give you more information because they'll give you more information of where you should be or how you should be or whatnot. Your chart never changes, so I can't sit. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you went on this path, so now this is going to happen. Somehow you're going to get back here because it's always going to happen. If I'm going to tell you you're going to get a blue hat, you're going to fucking get a blue hat somewhere. That's just how it works. But there are people that come in and ask me questions, especially the death question. And the truth is behind that is that a psychic can never tell you when you're going to die. And the reason for this is because we have 5 exit points in our charts. And we do not have to use all 5. We're not cats. We can't try it. But what happens is when we use an exit point, our soul will step out of our body and we will question ourselves. Did I learn everything I was meant to learn? Can I go home, which is when you die and go to the other side? Or do I need to go back and continue learning? If you come back and continue learning, that's when you have a near-death experience. And that's where the exit points lie, is near-death experiences. Wow. And then you'll have your last exit point somewhere in your life, and that's when you will just completely die. And that will be, so we have an exit point usually in the beginning of our lives, then we have an exit point at the way end of our lives, and then we have 3 in between somewhere. And that's where the near-death experiences come in. If you don't cross over, then you're not supposed to. So if you were to sit here and say, Christopher, I'm going to die, I can't tell you that because you could have an exit point happening tomorrow. Yeah. And you could survive that exit point or you could die tomorrow. But then if you survive it, you have 2, 3 more to go on. And like I said, you don't have to use all 5. You could have use one when you're 20 and then you die when you're 80. You never know. And it's because of the exit points, a psychic can never tell you when you're going to die. But I do get that death question a lot. I get questions about death. I get questions about the lottery. I cannot stand when people say, Christopher, what's the lottery numbers? I literally looked at a woman once going, do you think that if I knew the lottery numbers, I'd be reading your ass right now? I'd be doing the lottery. I would be going to lottery. You're doing it. I would win big bucks and I wouldn't be here. Yeah. But I don't even know them because that's pretty much cheating. A psychic has rules,
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like only a time traveler would be able to do that. And even then, I feel like the rules of time and space would change somehow to make it not so.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if someone is now interested in a psychic reading, I know they can connect with you, and also I'm a firm believer in for myself, I'm not the right astrologer for everyone. So I have other astrologers on here. So how does someone go about finding the right psychic medium for them based on their own needs and beliefs and whatnot?
I would definitely feel it out. Use the intuition because everyone has that. I don't give 2 shits who you are. Everyone has the intuition. Feel it out. If you're online looking up psychics and you see a picture, feel out that person. Make sure you're connecting with the person. If you look at the picture automatically and go, I don't like that, next. If you look at the person saying, I feel connected with this person, try it out. It's all about the way too of how you feel drawn. I have people in here that go, Christopher, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm getting a reading by you. I was in a sad mood and I was upset about something and you kept popping up on Facebook. Or, I was depressed and a friend came to me and told me about you. I always tell people, I don't like to advertise myself. It's not who I am. I'm not sitting here going, everyone come to me. There are some frauds out there I wish people would be careful with. But what I do is I always say, Spirit, I'm a magnet. Whoever needs to be drawn to me, help them get drawn to me. And people wake up with a dream of me or yada, yada, and they'll be like, I need to come see you. If you feel you need to see a psychic, just ask Spirit and say, help me find one, help me connect. And if you feel drawn to something or you have a dream about something or something keeps on happening and you can't explain it, like popping up on Facebook or whatever, you can connect with them. So I always tell people just follow what you feel because there are a lot of things out there that you have to be careful with people. Exactly. And whatnot. And I always tell people just be careful if people bring up demons and, everything like that. I don't like to bash people, but there's some psychics out there that will literally look at you and they'll pinpoint something wrong all the time, and then they'll talk about the wrong thing the
Mm.
whole reading.
Yeah.
And as humans, we get drawn to negativity. We want to listen. So what happens is they feed into that. And what I do is I literally will go, okay, health, career, finance, is any loved ones with me? How's your relationship? And I'll just jump into everything. You get a lot of information in such short a period of time.
Yep.
And another thing too is if you go to another psychic and a psychic says, oh, there's a demon in your house, I can come do a clearing for you, but that's another $600. Or I'll come get them out of your house. What are you gonna do with them? Put them in your damn pocket and carry them around? Like, get over yourself. If you can clear, people come to me for house cleansings. I love doing readings more than anything, but people come to me during house cleansing, and I'll just explain to them how to do it, and be like, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
But if you need me to come do it, I will.
Yeah.
That's up to you. I'm not looking for money. I'm not looking for, I'm looking to help you. Yes, I have to pay my bills, blah, blah, blah. But I want to help the world. I want to connect with the world and help the world.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit here and be like, yeah, I'll do this and this and this and this and this. No, if you need help, I'll explain something to you as much as I can. And if you need it, then we'll do it.
Yeah. So that's a great transition to the last question I have for you, which is, how do you think what you do and what you have to offer can help people as individuals to thrive? And then how either that connects to or is separate from how what you do makes the world a better place?
So what I love to explain to people, because I've had this a lot with other people that want to be fulfilled with light and love and all of this stuff. I always tell people my goal in life, my dream in life, and the feeling that I always have in life is that I want to be the light to help other people light up. And then I want that light to expand to somebody else. And then I just want it to be a chain reaction of light and love and all of that. With me as a psychic medium, what I really want is to help people go through the grieving process and help them understand and connect with one of their loved ones on the other side and help them through the process of that grief to help them release that energy and move forward in life. I want to help them understand why they're on the life lessons they're supposed to be, excuse me, to help them move forward and become lighter and understanding. Like, you're supposed to go through this bad relationship so you can get stronger with this and go here and all of that stuff. My favorite thing is that I really just want the world to change out of the negative hellhole it is. And I want to, again, be that light to send light to someone else and help them understand, where then they can give them that information on something else and help them and help them and help them. And just kind of create that routine reaction. What I really love though is that Anna has told me in 2024 you're going to see a very big spiritual movement. It's going to be an uprise in 2024.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it, but then again I'm like, should I worry about some people? Like, is there gonna be these bullshitters?
Yeah, there absolutely. And as astrologers, we see the same thing. Definitely 2024, 2025, 26, on and on. But that's when I feel like we're starting to feel it already. But yeah, I think we'll feel it even more in the coming months and years for sure.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, because Anna has told me, because I always ask Anna in the beginning of the year, what's the collective energy for people in this coming year? And she told me that in 2023, you'll start to, it's what I call the blueprint year. You're going to start seeing everybody creating these mental blueprints of where they see themselves in 5 years, 6 years,
yes,
and where they want to change and adapt and all of that stuff. And then she said in 2024, there'll be a very big spiritual awakening, an aha, and you will see a lot of people come out of the woodwork and all of this stuff happening. And she also has told me that going back to religion real quick too, you know how they say, a lot of people say there's gonna be an uprise with Jesus is gonna come back and all that stuff. Anna explained to me that it's happening, but it's not happening what people think it's gonna happen as. what's going to happen is Jesus is on the other side, and he's going to work through the people here, through psychics and spiritual people, you, yada, yada, yada. He's going to relieve these messages to these important people, and then they're going to help the world as he's helping over there.
That makes so much sense. It does. I
And
think that's so beautiful. Your message of wanting to have the light grow, I think that you and I are on a similar path in what we're trying to do and trying to help people to really just cultivate that light and love and spread it, because and have some practical sort of like approach to it, that like, yeah, the world is not sunshine and roses and rainbows and unicorns right now, but we have the potential to make the change and be the change that we want to see in the world, right?
Oh, definitely, yes. And a lot of people need to start seeing that too, where I think it's just because a lot of people have hit this bump in the road in their lives. And when you hit those bumps in the road in your life, you lower your vibration. And when you lower your vibration, it affects you physically. And then when it affects you physically, you start going down this downward spiral. And then some people just can't get out of it and they get stuck in it. My job is to help people relieve that and kind of go up. And what I really like too is that when you're in a higher vibration, life becomes a little bit more simple. You know, you can manifest easily. You can bring in that better light and love. You can connect with other people and other people with higher vibrations, especially. And that's what people need to see now, is that it's time to wake the hell up. You know, shake yourself, get out of your rut, stop throwing those pity parties, stop, you know, working with these negative vibrations. We don't need them. And get out of the depression. And, you know, depression literally means to press down. You're holding yourself down.
Yes.
And the best way to get out of depression, believe it or not, is not medication. And I believe in medication. I believe that people should use it as a stepping stone. It works to help you lighten up, where you can learn and then you get off of it.
Yes.
But depression, the biggest thing to help get out of it is to help other people. You get out of yourself to stop pressing yourself down. So once you step out of yourself and you help other people, the depression dissipates and leaves.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can see your worth, you can see your value, you can see the impact that you make on the world. So
Exactly.
Christopher, if people want to connect with you, tell us how they can find you online, socials, all of that.
So you can find me at www.christopherstilson.com. We will be working on the website a little bit, tweaking it up, but it is there, and you can book your readings through there. Any other services that I have on there, besides big events, like if you want to do a motivational speaking event, lecture, or parties and groups, you have to contact me through email or call or text. Psychic Christopher Stilson is on Facebook. So if you want me on Facebook, you can go type in Psychic Christopher Stilson. I'm on there. And then I think it's Psychic Christopher Stilson also on Instagram, that you can find me on Instagram as well.
Perfect. And any upcoming like offerings or events or anything you want to share for folks?
I am working with co-authoring with a book through with Marie Diamond. She is doing this book called Global Conscious Entrepreneurs, and it's me, her, and 46 other entrepreneurs, and we each get our own chapter and our bio, and we're on the cover and all of that. And this book is to present to people and teach them and help them with certain things in their lives through different people's eyes, which I'm absolutely excited for. That launches in March.
Wow.
Excuse me. And then I do have an upcoming show in March 4th at the Keystone Theater in Towanda. That is going to be a beautiful live show. And I will be doing a lecture in the beginning, and then it's going to be a drawing raffle type situation where I always feel bad for people when they go to big events and they want to get a reading and they don't, and they feel bad as well. I want to be able to read as much people as possible. So I'm doing a raffle event where if I pull your seat number, you can ask me 2 or 3 questions you want answered psychically, whatever is on your mind the most. I will then answer, move on, so I can get to more people as much as possible. So I'm excited for that. And then I have another event coming up at the Keystone Mansion, Kilmer Mansion. So many things going on. Kilmer Mansion in Binghamton. That will be, I believe, April 23rd, and I'll be. I did an event with them by myself last month. This month, I asked if I can bring my friend Christy Forsyth, who is also a soul therapist. Um, excuse me. And so her and I will be doing this event together, which I'm very excited to work with her with that. And there's so many other ones that I have kind of coming up and planning. I have been working on my success direction and feng shui, so a lot of good energies coming in through that, and I cannot wait for that. Um, but there's a lot of good things happening, a lot of
Yeah.
good things. So if you just stay tuned to the website and Facebook and things like that, everything will be on there.
Wonderful. Well, I have really benefited from the readings that we've done together. So I highly recommend that you connect with Christopher if you feel a good connection, because I know that it will be helpful to you. I'm so excited for you and all that you have coming with the book and all of your events. I'm just so psyched to see you just continue to blow up and expand and share your light and love with the world. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I just appreciate being here.
Awesome. All right. Until next time, everyone, we'll see you again. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Thriving. If you found this episode valuable, please hit follow and then rate and leave a review on your favorite podcast provider. Hit subscribe and the bell on YouTube and write to me in the comments. Your support helps the show reach more listeners and enables us to continue to create valuable content for you. Does your work not light you up anymore? Do you know this job just isn't it? That there's more to life and work than feeling irritated and unhappy? You can see both the problems and solutions that would make your clients happy and would make the world a better place, but your employer has another agenda and they're not fully leveraging your skills and expertise. Maybe you know that you're ready for a career change or retirement, or you're already in the process of starting your own business, but you need guidance to put the missing pieces together so you can figure out what you're going to do, how to make it successful, and when to make the leap. If you are a passionate and talented professional, entrepreneur, or leader who has checked all the boxes of what society tells you you're supposed to do to be successful, like get an education, get a day job that aligns with your skills, follow a budget, clock in and out on time, and meet or even exceed your performance goals, and yet you're feeling unfulfilled, overworked, drained, underappreciated, burned out, and either underpaid or handcuffed to your salary, let me ask you this. What if you could love what you do every single day, get your needs met abundantly, love where you are, and love who you spend your time with? If that sounds like what you're ready for, to thrive with more love, fulfillment, ease, abundance, and happiness in your life, then you should grab a free copy of my complete guide to making your daydream your reality, which will help you get from blocked and stuck on how to get from where you are in your job and your life to clear and confident on how to do work you love every day so you can stop surviving and start thriving. The guide will help you identify the optimal strategies for you to not only figure out how to do what you love every day, but how to make it profitable and articulate your why, your purpose, so you have a clear guiding light to build and leave a legacy and make your mark on the world. Whether you don't know any astrology at all or are a professional astrologer, this guide will help you launch your glow up so you can live the life of your dreams. You can get it on my webpage for this episode over at taylorshuler.com/horoscopes. If you want to accelerate your journey to living your purpose and get practical tools you can use to build your life and your business, I invite you to join the community at our Thriving Together level. You'll have full, exclusive, early access to my new materials, the ability to ask me your questions and get your chart read live, and connect with like-minded people you can collaborate with. Learn more and join now at taylorshuler.com/thrive. Be sure to follow us on social media for updates and behind the scenes content. We'll be back next week with another episode, so be sure to tune in. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, keep thriving.